Nothing is wrong, and that's the problem. If you're finding that you want to start your life over again, it's not something random. It's a sign that something has already ended. This is an internal struggle that many of us go through in our lives. I've personally gone through it several times. And this video is going to show you that you can change your life without blowing it up and that you can do it calmly and intentionally. These days, there's a lot of attention given to people who have completely left everything behind. They've gone and started a new life. And as society, we seem to reward this behavior. But this is the thing to take away from that is it's like the news. It's the 0.1% of the 1% that is very rare. And it's also very destructive for a lot of people. I think it's important to start out to understand that why we want to start over. This is a very normal thing, and we all go through growth and rebirth as we age through our lives. And naturally, this will happen when we're satisfied, when we have achieved all of our goals. And most people will think that there's something wrong with them or that something had to go wrong, something had to break, something had to fall apart. It's not always the case. In fact, rarely is it the case. Most of us are silently have achieved what we want to do in life, and we're quietly yearning for what's next. So there are a bunch of internal endings that we can have in our lives. We can have endings in careers, relationships, identities, versions of yourself. The reason why we're called 5-Year You is because I actively rebuild my identity every 5 years. I purposely think of where I want to go and what I want to be. So outgrowing your life isn't the same as failing at it. It's a sign of new growth, and that's amazing. It should be celebrated. Here are some signs that you're set for a reset. If you find yourself unsatisfied with where you are, or you kind of feel that numbness, that kind of restlessness, there's this kind of longing inside of you that comes out over and over again, and you feel like you're almost performing your life rather than living it. Another thing that can happen with this is that you might start to have that little bit of thinking in the back of your head going, I have everything I want. I should be happy. Why am I not happy? These aren't flaws. These aren't things. This is not an indicator that you have done something wrong. This is just a sign of misalignment. There is something inside of you that is no longer aligned with the past version of yourself, and this new version is emerging. So let's get to the facts. This is why most people stay stuck. Most of the time when we are wanting change, we have all these fears that come up. There's fear of losing what we've already created in our lives. The bigger fear is typically disappointing others around us. We have cultivated an identity and a persona for everybody else around us. And they know you as the person who smiles at the grocery store. They know you as the neighbor who waves every morning and asks how their day was. You're known as the spouse who always has dinner ready. There are always these versions of ourselves, and we're afraid of moving past that. We don't know what that means. Fear is entering a dark room and not knowing where the light switch is. And so you very timidly want to take that first step forward. You don't want to charge into the dark room because it's fearful. But that's what we do. Another fear that comes up for a lot of people is fear of regret. And I think this is something that we all struggle with, is what happens if. And if there's a sentence that'll keep most of us trapped in a life of mediocrity, it's what happens if. And I play that game with myself daily. I think most of us do. What happens if I do this? What happens if I don't do this? It doesn't serve you. I think the last thing that happens and why most of us stay stuck is that there's this belief that we have to burn everything down to start over again. And it's simply not the case. And the next video we'll talk about how to start over again without burning down your whole life. This one's just going to cover all the basics so you know that you're not alone and that it's very common. It's just that we're all struggling in silence with it. So to recap, the fears, they're there. We all have them. It's very, very normal. But the bigger fear is what if you don't? And it's not destruction. It's not starting over is not destruction. Starting over is being selective about the change and intentionally editing your life in a way that makes sense for you so that you can reclaim your power and start to enjoy your existence again. Remember, you don't blow up your life, you refine it. So what's the first real step? The first step is not quitting, not leaving, not abandoning, and definitely not blowing up your life. The first step is honesty. And with honesty, what we want you to think is just, why are you tolerating this version of yourself still? What no longer fits? Be honest with yourself. Where are you staying put solely based out of fear? These are hard questions, and you will probably have some challenging answers, but you don't need to have those answers yet. You just need to have them there. They just need to stick around and give yourself permission to just kind of noodle on them for the next little while. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to see the whole path in front of you. You just need to stop lying to yourself. And when you do that, things will start to inevitably become clearer. Clarity comes from truth, not action. So, how do people really start over? Well, they don't go in all at once. They don't walk into work the next day and quit. And they don't go tell everybody, I'm going on sabbatical for the next 15 years. See you when I see you. They start in phases. And that's what we're suggesting that you do. And that's what we do in our coaching with 5-Year You. They make these small incremental shifts, one day at a time, 1 week at a time, and a month at a time, whatever is right for you. You make those changes. And as you make those changes, your life begins to shift. If you think about it, you are walking a path. And right now, you're walking the path of what I've always known. And when you want to change your life, what we're getting you to do is just tilt it 1 degree, and then another degree, and then another degree, and another degree. And your nervous system is going to be able to calibrate to that a lot easier than if you were to wake up tomorrow and go, I am blowing up everything. No one should blow up everything, in my opinion, but that's just me. So these small shifts that you start to do will create momentum for you. They'll start to change how you spend your time. You will start setting new boundaries. You'll start letting go of the identity that no longer serves you, that outdated identity that says, I'm person A and I've always been person A. Now you're starting to become person A plus. And then you're going to become person A plus plus. And you're just going to keep adding pluses to it. And as you do that, you are going to naturally realign yourself with an identity that is best suited to who you are now and who you are going to become in the future. It's a beautiful time when this happens, but this is how we change. Forcing yourself to do too much at once will create a burnout and panic in your life. So you never want to do everything at once. You want to take it in little bite-sized steps. I'll give you an example. Most of us, when we decide that we want to lose weight, we make the mistake of cutting back on all of our foods. We ditch the coffee. We decide to get up at 5 a.m. We decide to run 5 miles. We decide to do all these things at once, and we do it great on day 1. And then on day 2, we wake up and we have sore joints. We've got a headache from not having coffee. We are dehydrated, even though we feel like we drank enough water, but we probably didn't. We are just feeling terrible. And so what happens on day 2? We have a little coffee. Nothing wrong with it. We skip our run because we're just not able to. Our knees hurt. And by day 3, we wake up and it's all gone. We don't want to do those things anymore because it was too painful. It was too much of a shift on day 1. And our body came back and said, we can't do this. We're staying put. But what happens if we realign our identity and we go, I'm somebody who moves throughout the day? That's easier. You wake up at your normal time, and instead of taking the elevator, you take the stairs. Instead of sitting down through your workday, you actually get up and move around a little bit. And you put those little increments, those little 1% in your day where they see fit. And as you do that, that path you're walking starts to change just a little bit. And no one notices, but you do, because it's your life and you're living it. Alignment creates momentum. Force creates collapse. And it's a really important thing. You need to do your changes in alignment with who you are, not force everything, because it will collapse and you'll be back to where you are. So wanting to start over, especially when nothing is wrong, makes a lot of sense. You are not behind. You are living your life on your terms and your timeline, and you are exactly where you are meant to be right now watching this video. You're responding right now to an internal truth. And that truth is something that has evolved within you over years, and you're just starting to notice it now. And at this point, most people stop. They get overwhelmed. They get afraid. They are not sure how to do the next thing because they're afraid of blowing everything up in their lives. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to change your life without blowing everything up so that you can move forward without panic or regret. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.